So I'm just gonna be super transparent with you guys, super real. Training is not going to be the easiest thing. There's gonna be a lot of petty people in the class. You're basically going back to high school, you're going back to college. Hello beautiful people, it is your girl TreasureElise, and I am back with another Flight Attendant Chronicles video. So guys, today I am going to tell you the top tips and tricks, what to expect for flight attendant training in 2019. I am an Orlando-based flight attendant and I absolutely love my life. So recently, a lot of you guys have applied to your dream career. You've received a CJO, your conditional job offer, and a lot of you have actually reached out to me, and basically all of you guys seem to have the same question: what to expect for training, if I can give you any tips. So I said, okay, it's a new year. I've learned so much as a flight attendant over the 2 years, and why not just go ahead and make a brand new video to help you guys out. I'm so excited for you. Congrats, congrats, congrats. So basically, let's go ahead and jump straight in. So at this point, you've already applied, you've already had your interview, you already passed those online exams, you spoke to an in-flight manager, and they loved you. Obviously, they gave you a CJO. Now you have your training date. You may have received your training packet on exactly what you need to learn or know for the first couple of days of your training. And I understand, I was there. Your anxiety is probably up the roof right now. You're probably so confused and you have 1,001 questions on what to expect for training. Okay, I'm just here to ease your mind. Let's take a deep breath. You know, this is gonna be an amazing journey. So, okay, so first things first, for you to be a certified flight attendant, you have to pass your training with a 90% or better. Once you pass, you obviously graduate, but the bigger picture is that you have to be certified from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. That's when you receive your cute little wings on your uniform. In order to be FAA certified, you have to obviously complete your training. So I'm just gonna be super transparent with you guys, super real. Training is not going to be the easiest thing. If it's your first time in a training like this, it's your first time in the industry like me, I had no knowledge coming into the airline industry. I didn't know what a fuselage was. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh yeah, I travel all the time. No, traveling all the time and knowing the information is completely different. So you have to mentally prepare. This is going to be a very intense course. This is, for my airline, everything was jam-packed to 3.5 weeks, whereas other airlines, they get 6 to 8 weeks, so it's a little bit more one-on-one. This is very, very intense. You're not gonna be around your family. You're gonna be in an abnormal atmosphere. Like right now, I'm in my hotel room on a layover. You have to be comfortable with leaving your family and being so focused and tunnel vision, because you have a goal, guys. Your goal is to come here, pass every exam, and graduate and receive your wings. That way you can start traveling the world. That way your family can also start traveling the world with you. So the amount of training really depends on the airline. My particular airline, we fly Airbus. So I am certified for the Airbus 319, 320, and 321. Depending on who you go for, you may have Boeings. And I know certain airlines that have at least, like, Lord, over 6 different aircraft. You have to learn every single inch of that aircraft. You need to know exactly where everything is. So that also depends on how long your training may be. But obviously, if you receive your CJO, you know all the information on how long the training will be. They've given you the background history on the airline and all that good stuff. So be prepared to be in a smaller or larger class. These training programs can have anywhere from 20 people to 100 people, depending on the availability of the company, how many people they're looking to come on. For me, we started my class at 99 people. By the time we graduated, it was 49 people. So we literally lost 50% of our class. It could be various reasons on why everybody is not going to make it through. But yeah, my particular training class, we lost 50%, unfortunately. So like I said, you do have to have a 90% or better on majority airlines. I have heard through the grapevine that some airlines you have to have an 80% or better, which makes it so much easier. I wish I was 80% better. And sometimes I think they will give you one retake. If you do fail an exam, you have one retake, but you have an exam every single day with only one retake, an amount of anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. So you got to keep that in mind. You don't have multiple retakes, and not every exam will have a retake. So make sure you guys are on your P's and Q's, your study habits are really good, and your test taking habits are excelling. You're basically going back to high school, you're going back to college. Be prepared for homework. For my experience, we will learn content through the entire day and be tested on that content the next day, or even we'll learn something in the beginning of the day, and then at the second half of the day we'll have exams on what we just learned. So you have to be a very quick test taker, you have to be a quick learner, and be prepared for homework. They're gonna give you homework. They want you to pass, you know, so homework is only going to make you better. It made me better. You know, if I didn't have that homework, I wouldn't have had the same experience. I know. So these flight attendant training exams may be orally. They may be oral exams, which you may have to state different commands. The majority of them are going to be written. Some of them may be fill in a blank. It may be like circle this. You may be in a group. So and you also will have to do a physical exam. So when you're doing those emergency evacuations, they want to see, okay, how would Treasure do these commands? We need to know that she's on a passing level to do the actual physical of the evacuation and the orally command. So make sure you guys are fit, you're healthy, you're good to go, because you're gonna need it. Each exam will have a trainer in there, a supervisor. So if you're doing your commands, you should be the only one in that room saying your commands or whatever they're testing you on. And they're not going to say anything. They're literally going to tell you, okay, I need you to say X, Y, Z. I need you to do this command or this demo. They have their little notebook. They're taking notes. And you basically have to do it on your own. And this goes back to passing with a 90% or better. In your training, you will focus on a lot of information. You have to be prepared with different type of writing utensils, highlighters, markers, pens, pencils, notebooks, journals, binders. A lot of people did not know this prior to coming to training, because they'll tell you the information, like they'll tell you the requirement items, but you're going to be taking so many notes on different stuff that training is going to cover. You're going to learn the FARs, which is the Federal Aviation Regulations. You're going to learn the different systems of the aircrafts that you will be flying in, your emergency procedures, your commands, any type of aviation terminology. Guys, it's going to be a lot of information. You need to make sure that you write every single thing down. Write your little questions that you can ask later down. So you will need multiple paper. You have to get into that college mindset again, where you're just taking notes, because these notes are going to help you on that next day exam. At the end of your training, you will have a final exam, and basically everything that you learned in training through those little tests that they give you, this is going to be your big test. So this is every single thing you learned you will have to do on the last day or within the last couple days of your training. So if you learn something day one, make sure you keep it in your brain, because you're still going to need that at the end of training. You're not gonna learn something, take the test, pass the test, and forget about it. No, that's not cutting it. You have to learn and keep that information, lock that information in, because on that last day when you have your final exam, which is gonna say yay or nay, you need to know that information. There's a lot of people that was in my training class that basically completed every single week, every single day. They got to the last day of training 3.5, 4 weeks later, and they didn't pass their final exam. Here goes your ticket back home. You don't want to get this far into it. You don't want to be this much committed and be so excited, and then everything you learned from day one just completely went out of your brain. So you have to make sure that you keep that information intact, keep all your notes. You still need to study everything. So once you pass that final exam, congratulations, you are now going to graduation. So this is the time where all the hard anxiety stuff is over. You get to relax, you get to prepare for graduation. You finally get to put on that uniform, which is going to be the best feeling ever. Sorry guys, like I said, I'm in my hotel and they're vacuuming outside, so please excuse that noise. But this is going to be the time where you put on that uniform and you finally get your wings. Like, after such an intense program, you're not going to want to be worried about anything else but graduating, having your family and friends sitting there watching you get pinned for your wings. That had to be the best moment of my entire life, because I knew my life changed at that moment. I didn't know what to expect for the future, but I knew my life had changed, and it's just such a unexplaining feeling. I'm getting goosebumps now even talking about it, because I worked so hard for that, and it's changed my life. It's really changed my life. I don't want to get emotional, but it's changed my life. So the company, depending on who you are now working for, will tell you your next steps either in person or they'll email you. You will also receive your flight attendant base and training, which is also exciting. If you live where there is a base at, you will get to know, okay, did I get my first choice? If you didn't get your first choice, then you'll probably get whatever was listed under that. You're learning all this good information, and it's just amazing. So training, you would know obviously how much you're getting paid. You will know your reserve schedule, how the reserve life works. You will get every single username and password. You're basically being your official employee now, you know. So you're getting all that good information. You're getting your beautiful ID picture that you taken. Mine wasn't that beautiful. I wasn't prepared, and they only let me take one picture, so it's okay. I only got a chance to take one picture, but it's all right. I wasn't even worried about the picture. I was just so excited to have that ID that had my name and my airline's name on the same thing. That's when I knew, mama, we made it. So worst case scenario, which we are not going to speak into existence, but it may happen if you do not pass your flight attendant training. I only speak for my airline. My airline will allow you to reapply 6 months later. So you cannot apply 2 months after, 2 weeks after, 3 months later. It has to be a full 6 months, and you do have to start the entire process over. You have to apply. You have to do those online exams again. You have to do the face-to-face interview. You will have to basically start the entire process over. So another thing that you can expect in training is your appearance. My airline, they did an appearance check every single morning before we got our day started. We have a certain amount of items that are required for us to have, and if you do not have that requirement, here goes your ticket home. If you are late coming back from any breaks or any type of breaks that we take, if you're late coming to class, here goes your ticket back home. If you are being disruptive, you are being disrespectful, here goes your ticket back home. So guys, you have to be so focused. Please have that tunnel vision. There's going to be a lot of petty people in the class. It feels like high school and college again. There will be petty people in the class. Because not everybody wants it as bad, you know. So a lot of people may take this as a joke, or they really don't want it. I mean, you'll make friends in the meantime, but that's not your goal to be there and make friends. You're there to get your wings. You're there to graduate, to have a life-changing career. Make sure you stay focused. Make sure you study. Make sure you ask questions. Become best friends with the recruiters, you know. Become best friends with the trainers, because you may need them. You may definitely need them. Also, a lot of people ask me, is training paid for? This goes back to depending on what airline that you are potentially going to work for. We received 2 checks in my training. Excuse me. We received 2 different checks in my training, just to kind of accommodate us to get past a little bit. Now, these are not going to be high checks. Like I said, it just depends. I know a lot of airlines do not pay you at all for training, and they will not accommodate you for your food. So I was lucky enough to be in a hotel that provided free breakfast, and I think 3 days out of the week they had lunch and dinner just at the hotel itself. So if you are staying at a hotel that already has free breakfast, that's obviously one meal you do not have to worry about. But please save up your money. Once you get that CJO and you know you will be heading to training, save your coins, because you are definitely going to need it. If you need any last minute stockings, or you need more notebooks when you get there, you're gonna need to eat, you know, like the hotel accommodations are paid for in full. The hotel transportation is paid for, but any personal things you will have to come out of pocket for. So make sure that you guys have your money saved up for your meals. Hopefully your company will put you in a hotel room that has a microwave and a refrigerator. That will help you out tremendously as well. The hotel I was in had a full kitchen, so that's good. I was able to cook, or I was able to I ordered a lot of Chinese food. Yeah, I definitely did order a lot of Chinese food, because it was this Thai restaurant up the street from my training, and it was so good. The food was amazing. So yeah, you have nothing to worry about. Like I said, you will receive an email from your company with all the nitty-gritty details on what you need to know by day one, where you need to be picked up at, what is your attire. For me, it was black and white, business professional for majority of the days. We did have certain days where we could be like super casual when we go out to like the fire station and everything. But do your research, take notes, ask questions, have that tunnel vision, because it's definitely going to pay off in the long term. After your training is now officially completed, you are now a flight attendant. You will go through that reserve life. I will be making another video about the reserve life. It is not the best life. Depending on what airline you are with, you can be a reserve from 2 months to 15 years. Yes, I was on reserve for 7 months. There's people that have just got the job with my airline. It's going on 9-10 months. They are still on reserve. If you are going to one of those larger mainline carriers, do your research. You will be on reserve for a couple years, minimum 5 years, depending on the airline. Obviously, the bigger the airline, the longer you will probably be on reserve. I will make another video explaining reserve life. That way you guys are also aware of that, because that's gonna make or break. You know, I have a lot of people that cannot sustain the reserve life, and they just quit. They move on because they cannot handle it. It is not for everyone. It takes a special person to make it through reserve happy. Also, once you get on the line, you're traveling, you're working, your training is not over. Every single year, the FAA requires flight attendants to do what we call a recurrent training. So every 12 months on your graduation day, what we call your anniversary date, you will have to do a recurrent training. So for my recurrent training, I basically had to go to our training facility. I was there, let's just say from 7 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. It's all day. You will be paid for your training depending on who you work for. They paid me for my training hours. And that's basically going to make sure that your skills and everything is still up to date. Make sure your training, everything you learned in that initial prior 12 months, it's still in your brain. That's what they're testing you on. There are consequences if you do not pass your training. Well, your recurrent training, there will be some form of consequence. But it's super easy, not to intimidate you guys or scare you. Recurrent training is pretty easy, but it gave me that anxiety that I did have back in training, because I didn't know what to expect, but it was super easy. As in training, make sure you guys start up different study groups, because a lot of people may learn differently. They may feel a little bit more comfortable studying in groups of 3 or groups of 10 or even solo. It'll be days for me where I wanted to have my 2 or 3 people where we were passing every exam together, we were studying together, and then it was also those days where I wanted to do solo homework or solo study by myself. That helps you out a lot, because if you have any questions or you're stuck on something, this basically gives you an opportunity to learn it through somebody else before you go the next day and have that exam. So make sure you make friends and you guys create those study groups, because it will help you out tremendously. So overall, I would say save your money, have fun. You're there to get your dream job. Stay focused, write down everything. Even if you are a visual learner or whatever the case is, write down everything. There will be a time when you have to go back and say, okay, what was that phone number, or what was this terminology or this definition? You stay professional. You are working for a large corporation. You have to be professional, okay? But yes, hopefully I covered everything for you guys. If I did not, I'm so sorry. Please hit me up on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or even leave me a comment down below if I did not cover anything, or if you have a personalized question. Please feel free to reach out to me prior to your training, or even if you guys are going through training, you need some type of uplifting, you know, reach out to me. I am so happy to help you guys out. I'm so happy that you've made it this far, and congratulations once again. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up now. Like I said, I'm on my layover and I gotta go get some dinner. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for finishing this video and tuning in. If you are a returning beautiful subscriber, thank you so much for returning. If you guys have not done already, hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you turn on that notification bell. That way you are notified each and every time I post up a new video. I be posting some good stuff, some good tips. I have my travel tip Tuesdays, guys, so make sure you tune into that. But thank you so much for your support. I really do love you guys, and you guys are so freaking awesome. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.